make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by telephone, cell phone, or personal computer using Zoom. Guidelines for participants: utilize the chat or raised hand function to address the board. Remain on mute until you have been addressed by the board chair, and participants are required to display their first and last names. Per tradition, we'll start with a roll call of present members. Starting with me, I'm Jim Garrity.
Paul Brandvold.
Sam Basalai.
Sue Mitra.
Okay, thank you.
Lori Stevenson.
Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Okay, first up, the Bolton Conservation Commission will now open the public hearing regarding a request for determination of applicability under provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetlands Bylaws, Chapter 233, regarding the proposed vegetation management of the CSX transportation. This is the railroad tracks from Lancaster Road at the Clinton Town Line to Wattaquadock Road near Berlin Town Line. This is the track that runs in between. Lauren, is the applicant or the representative here?
I believe Kip Callahan is here to represent the applicant.
Thank you.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Kip. Good evening. Can you walk us through what you are proposing, please?
Yeah, so my name is Kip Callahan. I'm from VHB. I'm here representing CSX. And so we've submitted this to RDA as part of the process associated with the railroad's 5-year vegetation management plan, which will be effective 2025 to 2029. And this is a process that has to happen every 5 years, where this plan gets submitted to the state for approval, and that process is kind of done separately from the Concoms. It goes into the environmental monitor, and there's a public approval process for the vegetation management plan. But as part of that, under the WPA and under the pesticide board regulations, the spray restriction zones and the wetlands associated with them need to be verified by the conservation commissions as part of that process. And so that's what we're here to do tonight. And so there's more details in that vegetation management plan, and also which the commission should have received notice about, as well as the yearly operational plan, which gets submitted on a yearly basis, which provides details about what contractors doing the treatment and what chemicals are being used. So in this case, we're here to verify these zones. And so I can, if it's all right, I can share my screen and show the areas that are relevant within the town.
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you see these plans?
Yes.
Okay, so the railroad only goes through a small portion of the town. It's just at this tiny corner that you can see from this context map. So there are just these two plan sheets. So one is, the first one just shows this corner here, and there is a DEP approved zone 2 area that is in the town, and in those areas the pesticide board regulations require limited spray, so they can only spray every other year. And so this small portion that is located in the approved zone is designated that way. We also, as part of the process for verifying these things, we go out and we paint on the tracks these different zones. So when the operator comes by, the way they do this spraying is they have what's called a high rail vehicle. So that's one of the basically trucks that can drive on the railroad, and it's got a big tank that they mix the herbicide with, and they have some booms that go out and they spray the herbicide directly down on the tracks, and that keeps especially grass and other vegetation from growing up in the tracks, which are a fire hazard when they have to grind the rails. And so these zones are marked on the track so that when the operator is driving along the tracks, then the painted zones help make sure they recognize the areas where they need to limit the spraying. So there's this small section here, which is part of this zone 2, as I mentioned. And then on the next page, we can see that zone 2 picks up here and comes along over to the Berlin town line. So there's really not very much happening in Bolton. And then there's a small area of buffer zone, and then this yellow area is a no spray zone. And so that means that there's a wetland where a nearby wetland that's within approximately 22 feet of the tracks, because there's 12-foot, the spray goes 12 foot from the center of the tracks, and it's not permitted to spray within 10 feet of the wetland. So this small area here designates that this is a no spray zone. And there have been no significant changes to the wetlands since 2020. So these have been field verified. Basically, we rode along with a CSX track inspector, or we visited these areas on foot this year and verified all these boundaries were consistent. And so no work is proposed within 10 feet of any wetland. And I think that kind of broadly covers sort of what this applies to and the methods used here.
Okay, good, thank you. Question, Kip, when you do spray, how far out does it go does it go past the ballasts, or is it just in the ballast area?
No, so for the spray that's covered mainly over this, it's just on the ballast. So they have these booms that are at the back of the truck that are kind of pointed down. And so the spray pattern is, I think, like I said, approximately 12 feet from the center line. And that basically covers, the main track and the ballast on the edges. And it's there to keep the vegetation off of the railroad.
Okay, great, thank you. Let me open it up to other commission members. Questions, comments?
Yeah, how often do you spray, and when was the last time you did this?
Normally the ballast is sprayed on a yearly basis. My understanding is last year there were permits that were not in place, so they didn't spray for ballast last year. But I believe the last time this was done was 2 years ago.
And do you have to come and ask for this every time you spray?
Sorry,
From
can
us?
you
Do you
say
have to come and ask the commission for this each time you do this?
No, so there's a yearly notification that goes out to the commission that details the what chemicals are being used, who the contractor is, and that's sent as a separate letter as part of the yearly operational plan. And then this process where we confirm these boundaries is part of the 5-year vegetation management plan. And
Oh,
so
okay.
we're just in the phase of the cycle where that's going through renewal. And I believe that has already been approved by I think it's the Department of Agricultural Resources. I have a letter I can look at if you want the exact details, but I believe that plan has already been approved and you should have received notice about that plan. There's a database online where you can look at all of the vegetation management plans. And so this is just part of that process where the spray zones basically need to get confirmed locally once every 5 years as part of that process.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if, how often you had to do this and when we did last time. So it sounds like it was 5 years ago, roughly.
Yeah, I believe the last time was in 2020.
Yeah. So that was before my time. That's why I didn't see this before.
Okay, great. Any other questions from commission members? Comments? Okay, any members of the public here that would like to comment on this hearing? Okay, seeing none. I would like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for CSX Transportation, railroad tracks from Lancaster Road, Clinton to Waterquack Road near Berlin Town Line. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? All in favor, say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Laurie,
Aye.
And I am an I as well, Lauren. I would like to make a motion that we issue a -3 finding with the following conditions. CSX to limit chemical treatment within jurisdictional areas as submitted dated March 2025 and as discussed at this evening's meeting. All those in favor say aye, starting with Sam,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and I am an I as well, Lauren.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kip.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We're on time here. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now open the public hearing regarding a request for determination of applicability under provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 233, for 8 Rocky Dundee Road, Map 3B, Parcel 76. And this is a request for the proposed removal of an existing deck with a string porch and replacing it with a new deck. Lauren, is the applicant or representative here?
Yeah, Chris Rogers is here. I am able to share my screen though, if he would like me to. Yep. Okay.
Hi, Chris. You're on mute. Hi, you're on mute. Oh, Laura, can you unmute him, please?
Trying to here. It's not going through for some reason. So I'm just trying to pull up our file here.
Okay. Yeah, why don't we, Chris, we'll try and pull up the file here and we'll try and walk through it. And if we have any questions, we'll see if we can get you back on audio here.
Okay, so here is the plan. And then might be a little bit difficult to see, but we have some images too of the proposed deck that I can pull up after this. So looks like this is, I think what we're looking at is the current deck that they're proposing to remove.
Right. No, do
And
you have the
sorry,
other?
go ahead.
Yeah, do you have
Yeah.
the other file? Probably. Okay, so there's the new deck. And I believe from discussions that the new deck is still within the same footprint as the current deck, the existing deck that they want to remove. So we're not increasing the footprint. It's still within the same footprint that was approved when the house was originally built. So I don't have any additional questions. Does anyone open it up to the commission? Does anyone have any questions? Not seeing any. Do we have Chris still? Can we get Chris back on? If not, I don't even see him anymore. Okay. I think the high level summary is they're removing an existing deck, building a new deck, but the new deck is staying within the exact same footprint as the existing deck. So I don't have any questions. Go ahead, Laurie.
Was the old deck covered? Is it, are they putting a roof over this? Is that the issue? Or otherwise,
I believe that if you scroll up, if you could, Lauren, to look at the visual of what the deck looks like. Half the deck, or it looks like is open, but then the deck on the side has got a roof on it. And I'm not sure if the current deck has a roof on it. questions? Anyone from the commission? Any other questions? Okay, anyone from the public here to comment on this hearing?
I will say, Jim, that speaking with Rebecca and looking at some of her notes, she had mentioned possibly the commission considering redirecting the roof runoff away from jurisdictional areas on site and into an associated dry well, and also considering the condition to not increase the limit of work. So just wanted to mention those two things.
Right, great. Right. Thank you, Lauren.
Yep.
Yep, sounds good. Okay. I'm not seeing any comments. I'm going to make a motion that we close the public hearing for 8 Rocky Dundee Road, map 3B, parcel 76. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Hey, thank you. All in favor, starting with Sam,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori?
I'm not sure, only because I'm really not sure why it's being brought up if there isn't an issue. Was it, if there wasn't a roof on there before and we're talking about drainage off the new roof, why? I don't know. I'm just not quite sure about this yet. If someone can just explain it a little bit better to me. Thank you.
Okay.
I know Chris can't talk, so I'm
Yeah.
not, it's kind of hard.
Okay. I don't see, is Chris still with us? I don't
Not
see.
seeing him.
No, I think Chris
Um,
left.
I do have in my notes here that if the commission wishes to go out and do a site visit, that's also an option. If you want to do that before closing the hearing.
Yeah, I guess given that can I reopen it?
Well, yeah, we haven't closed it yet, so.
Yeah, we haven't closed it.
Okay. So I guess maybe we should, Lori, does this make sense if we postpone it until we get further clarification on your questions? I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just not sure because we haven't really heard anything about it, and I don't know what the issue. If they're just fixing it, fine. But if there's a new roof on it, Rebecca has a question about the drainage. Well, we haven't really addressed that. I'm just not really sure about it. So that's my only question. I don't know if anybody else has a question about that before it's closed out. I'm just bringing it.
No, fair comment. And I don't know the answer to that. So why don't, does it make sense if we postpone this till we get further clarification, to postpone it to our next meeting?
I will say, I just want to mention, so it sounds like this was built in, it was a previously approved limit of work over an existing lawn. And the footprint, I think, is increasing just slightly. But Rebecca did mention that there is an exemption within the Bolton bylaws that state if you're maintaining, repairing, or replacing, adding to, but not substantially changing or enlarging an existing single-family residential appurtenance, then there is an exemption to the bylaw in that way. So I don't know if that offers some clarification to the
Actually,
commission.
that does a lot because it just seemed like kind of going through without knowing what was going on. So that actually a lot. Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
So Lori, are you comfortable if we issue a -3? Lori?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me
Thought you said Laura, not Lori.
sorry, Lori. Let me start again. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing for 8 Rocky Dundee Road, map 3B, parcel 76. Do I hear a second?
Hold on. Oh, can you hear me now?
He's
Chris.
back.
Oh,
Oh
here's
my
Chris.
gosh. My sincere apologies. I was actually just texting Paul. I'm like, I can't make this work. I'm sorry. So I know that you're pinched for time here. If I can answer any questions for you in the few seconds I've got left.
No, Chris, can you just walk us through the overall project?
Certainly. So the picture you're looking at right there on the screen is the new proposed. So there's an existing deck where the screen porch is in the picture. And the request is to remove the existing deck, replace it with the screen porch you see there, and then wrap around the corner of the house and create, some open deck space there.
Does
So-
does the existing deck have a roof?
No, it does not.
Okay.
So Chris, what is the runoff from this roof? What is below it that the water will go?
It's so basically where all this is. So this is part of the Rocky Dundee Road subdivision. And Lori, I think was on the commission back then. It's lawn, for lack of a better description. So this whole area. So the deck does encroach into the deck. It may currently, and the new one certainly at its point, but back in the day when the subdivision was created, we were allowed to kind of put some lawn areas and areas not for a backyard essentially. And so on that plan that was shown earlier, you'll see the fence and this lawn area. So we're staying inside what is currently being used as what I'll call yard. And then to add to that in terms of, so the runoff from the roof would go to the ground like the runoff from the roof currently goes on that porch section. And we'd also be using helical piers for the deck post for that new deck too. So there wouldn't be any excavation or anything going on that space. So I guess to your question, Paul, we could certainly gutter that porch roof where the existing deck is now and direct it so that it stayed outside of the buffer zone. Again, we're catching that kind of that point.
Well, what's the rest of the roof there? Does that have gutters or is it just kind of like falling in the same direction?
I think I don't know. I think there is a gutter there currently that runs into the corner, but I would have to take a look. I hadn't thought to look at that.
So Chris, you'd be okay with putting gutters on and redirecting the water to stay outside the buffer zone?
I have no objection to that. I mean,
Okay.
Okay, other questions, comments from commission members? Okay, any members of the public here to comment? Okay. I don't remember where I left off.
yeah, my apologies. I kind of jumped in there just as you were wrapping up.
No, that's okay. I think we closed the hearing, right, Lauren?
Well, we didn't quite close it yet. You can close it now if you like.
Okay, what's the, do I?
Yeah, we
read-
can do another motion to close.
Okay. Yeah.
We didn't
It was
finish that.
it was never approved.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to make,
Put a snag in it. So, but Chris talked, so now we know what's going on. Thank you, Chris.
no, thank you, Laurie. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing for 8 Rocky Dundee Road, map 3B, parcel 76. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye, starting with Sam,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well, Lauren. And I'd like to make a motion that we issue a -3 finding for 8 Rocky Dundee Road with the following conditions. That there will be no increased limit of work as presented at tonight's meeting, and that gutters will be installed on the roof such that the water will not go into the buffer zone. Do I hear, all in favor, say aye, starting with Sam,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
I,
Lori,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Sorry about that. Appreciate it very much.
No worries. Thank
Have
you.
a great night.
You too. Okay. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now open the public hearing regarding a notice of intent under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetlands Bylaws, Chapter 233, for 98 Norse Road, Map 5B, Parcel 88. And this is for proposed tree removal and landscaping improvements. Lauren, is the applicant or representative here?
Yep, we have Nancy Latanzio here with us tonight.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Julia Yang, the owner of the property, is also here, I believe.
Excellent.
Okay, so I am here as Julia's representative, as her landscape designer. I can share my screen with you if you'd like me to walk you through with some photos and the drawings.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okey doke. See, gotta get the right screen here. And here we go. This is a photograph of the house, 98 North Road as you approach on the driveway. It's a large property, 4.5 acres. All the work we're proposing is in the front yard here. Julia is a new owner. She just purchased the house less than a year ago, and she wants to make some gardens. That is the view to the house. The view from the house is, let's see, I have a better picture. Show you. This is the view. I'm standing here at the front entrance looking into the yard, and the bordering vegetated wetlands is beyond this. It's inside this woods that you see here. Okay.
I don't, I'm sorry, Nancy. I think you still have the existing plan up. I'm not saying, I think you're,
Oh, I'm showing you the wrong screen. My apologies.
no worries.
Did you see the first photo or no?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Let me try this again. Do you see the photo now?
We do.
Okay, this is the view out from the front of the house. And as I was saying, the wetlands is inside this woods here. And you can see the lawn outline here. I'm mentioning that because we're not changing that lawn outline. The trees that I'll walk you through with the plan, but the trees we're proposing to remove are these two cherry trees in the foreground. They're fruiting cherries. They're not native cherries. And then there are a few dead or dying poplars here right on the edge of the woods. This one here. And then there's another one here. You can see the orange flagging tape on there. Is that visible?
Yes.
Then there's like 3 in a row here. There's one single one here, and there's 3 in a row, 1, 2, 3 here. And then there are 2 dead oak trees back here that we're asking permission to remove. One of them, when this picture was taken, they were both standing up. One of them has since fallen, and it's hanging on the other trees. So then I will see if I can bring over my plan for you. Do you see the plan, or you still see the photo?
We still see the photo.
Okay, I have multiple screens, and I'm sorry. It is always a little snafu when I'm trying to share it. So, okay, this is the proposed. You would probably like to see the existing. Let's see. Hang on. Bear with me. Yeah. Here's the existing right here. So the 100-foot line is at the top, comes pretty close to the house. The 30-foot line you can see below that, and then in the green underneath that, that's all the flagging for the wetlands. Everything that we are proposing to you is in this area between the 30 and the 100. The 2 cherry trees are right here. And then I've located the other 6 trees that we're thinking of removing as well. This existing lawn area here in the light green is about 7,500 square feet of lawn. We're going to be reducing that by 1,400 square feet. I'll show you on the next drawing. This is the proposed. So what we're looking to do here is Julia is a big gardener, so we're going to create some inside the red. These are all going to be new planting beds. This is 1,400 square feet of planting bed. So that's what the lawn reduction is. We're also going to put another planting bed outside the current lawn footprint. It's about 1,000 square foot. This is going to be with wetland plants, and all of the plantings inside the 100-foot zone are going to be native. She's got additional gardens coming in here. I just mentioned that because we're also making the lawn here smaller, but it's not in your jurisdiction, but it's a nice thing that will happen. The trees in gray that you see here, those are the ones that we've asked to remove. And let's see, so we're looking to create those beds, remove those trees, and we're proposing, we're proposing a retaining wall, which you see right here, a natural field stone retaining wall, because the whole area slopes down to the wetlands, and we just want to create a level lawn here closer to the house. So the grading here will be, the lawn will raise up from existing grade about 15 inches from existing grade. And I don't think that will affect the drainage on the property. And the only other thing I would say is that we have our erosion control barrier proposed right down here, this brown line. And we'd like to propose that be that this area be in perpetuity, because we'll need to maintain this area here. There's a lot of invasives right here in this area. There's a lot of bittersweet and other invasives, so we anticipate having to go in there year after year and clean it up. So if there's a way to make that in perpetuity so we don't have to come to you every time we want to touch that, that would be great. That's it.
Okay,
Any
thank
questions
you.
I can answer?
Well, I have one question. For the trees that you're going to remove, are you going to stump grind those, or are you going to level cut them, or what are you going to do?
We were just going to drop them. We weren't going to grind the stumps.
Okay.
I have some pictures of the trees if you care to see them as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You know, it looks great, and I know there's a ton of work here that you're proposing, and it's you know, all within the buffer zone. So, you know, I would like to do a site visit just to go see what it looks like out on site. That would be, you know, what I would like to see. But let me open it up to the other commission members for questions, comments.
Jim, I think a site visit makes a lot of sense in this situation.
Yeah, and I had a couple of questions regarding since you're taking down several trees and the new plantings you're doing, is any of that going to be trees, or is it mostly shrubs and other things? Just I'm thinking about the replacing some of the species that goes away, you know, with
Sure.
some equivalent.
Right. We have one Cornus Florida going over here into the lawn. And we have 2 other trees that are going in here. They will be very small when they go in. However, they're fruit trees. They're going to be a Rainier cherry and a Bink cherry. Those are going to be quite small when they go in. Other than that, we have, I didn't add it up, but it's mostly shrubs and yeah, mostly shrubs and perennials going in.
What are you using for erosion control barrier?
I was going to ask if you had any preferences. I usually use the sock that's filled with mulch.
And you're looking at this for a permanent fixture or just while you were doing the work?
The control barrier only needs to be in while we're doing the work. It's just that we would like to be able to maintain this area. And so that, I was proposing that as a, in an indefinite limit of work. We're
Are
not
you-
gonna be using any chemicals. All the removal work that we do is gonna be handwork.
And if I can chime in terms of the trees, I know right now the plan has shrubs, but I have researched some of the tree species that are native and prefers wetlands, so I will be open to that idea as well. You know, because I do know that usually it will be nice to, when you cut down a tree, to replace it with another tree. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Julia.
I guess my question is more, how are you, sometimes we'll look at putting some rocks in or just something in the landscape that makes the landscape look nicer, but also makes people go, oh, I'm not going to go any further than this. I didn't know if that was something that you were using as a limit of work, or how you would
Okay. Yeah, I think
note.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. When you do the site visit, see what you think. I think it will be fairly clear because this area here is not very treed, and then the trees kind of start after it, so you'd be able to, it kind of makes sense when you see it. But if you want us to do some kind of a stone edge or something, we could certainly do that.
Yeah, currently there are couple boulders that's kind of like marking the edge. You know, so I would be open to kind of like do that and probably kind of place them strategically so it kind of blends in, but also provides you know, a nonverbal cue. Please do not tread any further.
Okay. Any other questions from commission members?
Jim, I just wanted to get a quick confirmation that 800 square foot, that's where it's going to be raised about 15 inches, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. And is that for the entirety of the 800 square feet?
The raising of, well, it will be slightly pitched because it's a lawn, and it'll be pitched minimally. It'll probably be, no, so it's, that's a good question. Because here, if you see my cursor,
Yep.
we are not touching the existing grade there. So the lawn will be raised 15 inches at the 15 inches is at this edge. So it'll go from 0 to 15 on the outside
Okay.
here.
And the plan is to not have that be pavers or anything like that. That's going to remain a permeable surface?
It's going to remain lawn.
Okay.
Okay, great. Any other questions from commission members? Okay, any members of the public here to comment on this hearing? Seeing any? Okay, so Nancy, you okay with us postponing till our next meeting so we can have a site visit in between?
Sure. When would you like to come?
We'll work, Lauren will work with you on the specifics. We'll work.
And okay. And do you want anything staked for the site visit?
Yes, if you could.
What would you like to see?
The trees that you're going to be removing.
Mhm.
The outline of the 800 square foot lawn.
Okay.
The outline of the vegetation, the native vegetation you're going to put in closest to the 30-foot
Okay.
buffer zone.
Yeah.
And then just kind of an outline of the plantings. Will you have the outline of all the plantings that are going to go in around that 800 square
The
foot?
planting bed line.
grass here?
Okay. Mhm.
So
Sure.
in other words, it's essentially everything. Buffer zone.
Sure. Can you just, if you wouldn't mind, can you just refresh me on, so then you would do the site visit, and do you make your decision at the site visit, or do we have to have the next hearing for your decision?
It's the next hearing where we would make the decision,
Okay,
right, based on the inputs that we see from the site visit.
okay. Yep, great. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for 98 North Road, map 5B, parcel 88, until the next public meeting of the Conservation Commission on May 6th at 7 o'clock. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and Lauren, I am an aye as well. So Nancy, Lauren will reach out to you and work on a schedule for the site visit, which we'll have between now and the next meeting on May 6th.
Great. And do you don't do those on the weekends, I understand. You do them weekdays?
We typically do those weekdays, correct?
Okay, that's fine. Great. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Bye.
Hey, how are we doing for time here? Okay, the Bolton Conservation Commission will now continue the public hearing regarding a request for determination of applicability under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 233, regarding 38 Harvard Road. This is for the proposed installation of a fence. And I see Eric. Good evening, Eric.
Good evening.
So we had a site visit on 410. And as a result of that site visit, Eric, you were going to revise the plans.
Correct.
So could you just walk us through the revised plans and really kind of what changed from the original plan to what you have now?
Sure. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick.
And if you need me to share it, Eric, I can pull that up.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I didn't have
Sure.
that one, sorry.
Yep.
Yep. So if you could zoom in a little bit, yeah, thank you. That purple line was the line that we had walked when you all had come out for the site visits. The recommendation from Rebecca was to pull that line back from the wetland. You can see that dashed kind of line at the very top of the 30-foot line that I have. The recommendation was to pull that back 30 feet from it, and that's essentially what I have done here. So.
Okay, great. Thank you, Eric. I don't have any questions. Let me open it up to the commission. Any questions from the commission? Nope, seeing none. Any members of the public here to comment on this? Any? Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for 38 Harvard Road. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
thank you. Eric, I'm going to issue a -3. That's a good thing. So
Okay.
it sounds bad, but it's not. I'd like to make a motion that we issue a -3 finding for 38 Harvard Road with the following conditions. Fence cannot be placed within the 30-foot no disturb area. The commissioner agent reserves the right to request the use of erosion controls. The fence shall not constitute a new limit of work. Rather, only the fence shall be permitted. No other alterations within the fenced-in area / justification area shall be permitted as part of this RDA. A new RDA / NOI would be required for work within the jurisdictional areas. This RDA is solely for the fence installation. And the conservation agent to review fence location upon completion. Do I, all in favor, starting with Sam,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Okay, are we on time here? Okay. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now continue the public hearing regarding a notice of intent under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 233. This is for 89 Spectacle Hill Road, map 1C, parcel 131, DEP file number 112-0754. This is for the installation of a 2,000-gallon septic tank, bleaching field, pump, and a one-bedroom ADU and associated grading. The applicant has requested a continuance to 5/6. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I believe that, I know this has been continued for a little bit, but I believe we'll actually discuss this at our 5/6 meeting. So I'd like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for 89 Spectacle Hill Road, map 1C, parcel 131 until the next public meeting of the Conservation Commission on May 6th at 7:10.
That's right, 7:10.
7:10. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and Lauren, I am an aye as well.
Thank you.
Okay, that's 1 minute. I don't think we can do anything in a minute, Lauren.
I don't think so. I think we'll have to wait for that.
Okay. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now continue the public hearing regarding a notice of intent under provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Bylaw Wetland, Chapter 233, regarding Lot 2, Harvard Road, map 5C, parcel 175, DEP file number 112-0755. Lauren, is the applicant or representative here?
I don't see anyone here representing. I think it's Brandon Ducharme, but I don't see him here. I know that we were still waiting for a few things from the applicant, and we haven't received those things yet. And I think we're also working on scheduling a site visit. I know at the last meeting, Brian had mentioned that he wanted to go back out at some point with an auger and just view the limit of the wetland towards the front of the property. So we're working on scheduling that site visit. So this may just be a continuation at this point.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. With that said, I'd like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for Lot 2, Harvard Road, map 5C, parcel 175, until the next public meeting of the Conservation Commission on May 6th at 7:20. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
Aye.
and I am an aye as well.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have one more scheduled. meeting at 8, so I think we might have a little bit of time. Lauren?
Yep, we could go on to the continued request for certificate of compliance for 38 Long Hill Road.
Okay, so this is a continued request for certificate of compliance for 38 Long Hill Road, map 4D, parcel 60, DEP file number 112-0687. This is the Slater property. Site visit was held on 10/7. Property owner and contractor were present. We are still awaiting additional information specific to the left-hand side of the driveway for stabilization and remediation. So it's not ready yet. So we will continue this until the next meeting. Okay, let's try to do another one here. We got time. There's another request for a certificate of compliance for 727 Main Street, map 1, parcel 1, DEP file 112-0722. This is for the replacement of a septic system. They demolished the existing garage, temporary stabilization. Is the applicant here or representative? Sorry.
It was submitted by Robin Bonazzoli. I don't see her in the waiting room.
So Rebecca did go on and visit the site, and she was comfortable that the work was complete and that the site is stable. Does anyone have any commission members have any questions or comments on this one? Okay. So I'd like to make a roll call vote that we approve the COC as presented.
Actually, Jim, sorry, I do have one comment. I have a note here from Rebecca just mentioning that construction of a new garage in the same footprint is permissible in the future, but if larger than the existing footprint, then a new NOI shall be required.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
So when we approve this, it's kind of a condition on the COC. So there's a roll call vote that we approve the COC with the following condition: construction of a new garage in the same footprint is permissible in the future. If a larger than the existing footprint, a new NOI shall be required. All those in favor say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Lori.
Aye.
And I'm as well. I as well, Lauren.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, we think we can get another one in here.
I think so. We have 5 minutes.
Try it. Let's see what this one's. Okay, this is a request for certificate of compliance for 401 Main Street, map 4D, parcel 20, DEP file number 112-0649. This was a project that involved remediation of a cleared area within the bordering vegetated wetlands, the 100-foot buffer zone, and 200-foot river area. Is the applicant here, Lauren, for this one?
I see Dave Burke is here.
Hey, Dave. Dave's on, can you unmute him, Lauren, or?
I'll ask him to unmute. I don't think I can unmute him. All I can do is ask to unmute. So, hi, Dave. Do you hear us? Are you here with us?
Maybe we're having the same problem. Regardless, I think the path we're going to go down on this, because the management has changed, that we're going to table this until the next meeting on 5/6, and additionally, there will be a site visit that is required. So, Lauren, if you could schedule that site visit in between this
Sure.
week, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Yep, by the end of the week. I won't be in tomorrow, but on Thursday I will be sure to reach out and see what availability they have before the next meeting on the 6th. See if we can get that set up.
Okay. We only have 3 minutes. We'll hold off on the pines if we could. For the meeting minutes, did everyone get a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting? And does anyone need more time, or are there any comments? Okay. Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion that we accept and approve the minutes as drafted of the public meeting on April 1st, 2025. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye, starting with Sam.
Abstain.
Sue?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well, Lauren.
Okay.
Okay. 2 minutes here.
Might be able to go over the enforcement order updates, if
Okay.
any.
Yep, thank you. Enforcement order updates, there aren't any? Because I understand it, right? Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. Lauren, do you want to walk us through the upcoming events?
Sure. I'll actually share my screen just to walk everyone through it. We have a few upcoming events for Earth Day and just in general. So I will share my screen. So under the Conservation Commission tab, under news and announcements, we have the Environmental Day activities that are coming up. And if anyone is interested, feel free to come on here and you can register. We have Earth Day story time on April 22nd at Fifeshire Dam Conservation Area. Next Tuesday, we have our Community Garden Cleanup Day from noon to 3 o'clock at Horse Ring Field. If anyone wants to stop by, feel free to bring any tools you might have, rakes, tarps, anything, and come help out and clean that up. What else do we have here? Townwide, trailwide cleanup, April 18th through the 25th on all the conservation properties. Our pop-up arboreta installation and the invasive garlic mustard pull Thursday, May 1st and Sunday, May 4th. And also the Learn to Fish clinic at Bowers on July 3rd. So if anyone's interested, you can click on, the event and there should be a link where you can register.
Excellent, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're at 8 o'clock. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now open the public hearing regarding a notice of intent under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetlands Bylaw, Chapter 233, regarding 435 Main Street, map 4D, parcel 18, DEP file number 1120756. This is for the proposed installation of a 4x16 open-sided wood shed on creek deck footing with a metal roof. No foundation or digging will be involved. Lauren, is the applicant or their representative here?
The applicant is John Kosker, and he actually sent me an email saying that he wasn't able to make it tonight. He did forward some photos that I can pull up for you here. 1 minute. So DEP had requested that he submit proof of mailing of the abutter notification. We did receive the abutter notification from him. We're still waiting for the actual proof of mailing itself. So this is 435 Main. I can just go through and share. So this is the first image. Actually, let me see if we have a plan. Here's the map. Okay. So this is where they're proposing to place the shed. It looks like there's all wetland back here in this darker area. Some comments from DEP mentioned, noting that the applicant proposes to construct the shed on concrete footings and no digging is proposed, the applicant may consider an alternative location on the property for the shed due to proximity to the bordering vegetated wetlands and possible siting within the bordering land subject to flooding. And
Okay.
so the photos that they just submitted today, they highlighted the area where they're proposing to place the shed. And you can see the wetland back here.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, from my perspective, I think this is one where a site visit would be extremely helpful to really see what's going on here. So I'm going to request that we perform a site visit, but let me open it up to members of the commission. Questions, comments? Okay, I'm going to request that we have a site visit, Lauren, and that we postpone this to our next meeting. We'll have more information. So I'd like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for 435 Main Street, map 4D, parcel 18, until the next public meeting of the Conservation Commission on May 6th at 7:30. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lauren? I'm
Aye.
sorry.
That's
Lori?
okay.
Lauren, I'm an aye as well. Sorry, Lauren.
Okay, thanks. All right.
Okay. Next up is let me see here, where this is a request for approval to remove remaining erosion controls at the Pines Golf Course at the International, 159 Ballville Road. Lauren, I think I saw Kelly here. Is Kelly here?
Yep, Kelly and also Paul McManus are here tonight.
Good evening.
Hi.
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 We're here to request that the commission allow the removal of the remaining erosion control. You authorized it for a certain segment of the Pines in October, and Paul has been out weekly as the environmental monitor, and we believe that the site is stabilized adequately and request that we can go ahead and remove that. Rebecca has scheduled a site visit for April 30th.
Is Kelly, is what you're asking to remove, is this what we approved? Or I know you had put additional erosion controls in place. Is this for the additional erosion controls, or is this for the erosion controls that were approved by the board?
This is the erosion controls that were approved by the commission.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so I think we're going to have to wait until Rebecca has her site visit in a couple of weeks.
And so, based on that, we'd come back again on May 6th. Is that your thought?
Correct. Any questions? Commission have any additional questions? Let me open it up to the commission for additional questions. Not seeing any. Yeah, I'd like to wait for Rebecca to have a site visit and report back, if that's okay.
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 Thank you so much.
All right,
Okay.
May 6th.
Thank you. Yep, May 6th. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. I think we got through everything. A couple
We have a
things
couple.
left, couple votes left, Lauren. So we have two votes. Let me try and go through this. The first vote is OSRP revision to extend action plan out 3 more years per the opportunity provided by EOEEA and new OSRP guidelines. So this is my understanding of what the ask is here. So this is open space recreational plan. I believe we approved that either earlier in the spring or late last year. The Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs is responsible for OSRP guidelines. The current guidelines requires that the OSRP plan be updated every 7 years. There's new OSP guidelines that allow to go from 7 years to 10 years for an approval process. So this will allow the town to have the OSRP in place for 10 years. There's been no new projects have been added to the plan. Rather, some items extended on going into 10 years. If we approve this, then the OSRP will be resubmitted to the DCS program for approval and confirmation. So because we just approved our OSPR, we're eligible, in other words, for this opportunity to go to only have to update it every 10 years instead of what we're currently updating is every 7 years. So questions, comments? Okay, not seeing any. So I'd like to make a roll call vote to approve and accept the action plan as discussed in tonight's meeting. All those in favor say aye, starting with Sam.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Lori.
Aye.
And Lauren, I am an aye.
Thanks.
Okay. The next vote is to consider a request from Harvard Conservation Trust to include Bolton's trails on their trail challenge, including related installments. Lori, can you bring up that proposal just so we can see? So this is Harvard Conservation Trust. I think we have 3 conservation trails in Bolton that also connect to Harvard Conservation Trails. So they would like to install these, I guess they're, what are we calling these things? Like lanyards onto trees to kind of denote where the trails are.
Oh, paracord rope.
Yes, thank you.
So basically they want to install these images using the rope, that colored rope that I just had pulled up.
Right.
And their trail challenge is proposed to take place between May of 2025 and fall of 2025. At which point then these would then be removed.
Right. So the trails are going to Vaughan Hill and Bowers, and Zinc Northwest Woods is all within their trail challenge. So they want to use our trails for their challenge.
So these are going to be like tied onto trees. Is that the idea?
Correct.
Okay.
Is this like a geocaching kind of thing, or is this like to delineate the trail itself?
I don't know. That's a good question.
See if there's more details.
It could be a little bit of both.
I'm just going to stop my screen share for a minute and see if I can find that information.
Thanks, Lauren.
Yep.
I'm also just curious as to how many we're talking about.
Okay, so in this email here, I'll pull it up. Residents will be invited to hike all of the selected trails and mark the completion of their hike by writing the name of an image that hikers will find along the trail into a trail challenge scorecard. They will provide the scorecards, Harvard Conservation Trust will provide the scorecards, place the images along the trail, and award a t-shirt as a prize for those who complete the challenge. We plan to use a light, brightly colored parachute cord to tie the images around a tree along the trail for hikers to find, which we will remove at the end of the challenge.
So they're noting an image. So I guess it's a little bit of both, Sam.
Okay.
So it said we would like permission to include 3 Bolton trails that are natural extensions to their Harvard counterparts.
So they don't say how many. Is it 1 per trail? I wonder. They don't say that.
I don't think they say that.
Like it.
And then my other
Oh.
question is, are there any private sections, privately owned sections of the trail that are not easemented to the town? Where we would have to get permission from a landowner?
No, I believe these are all on Bolton Conservation-owned trails.
I'm not sure about Zinc Northwoods.
Is that private?
There might be a private section.
I'm gonna pull up
The
their
other ones I
website that they
think
list here.
are you're right, Jim, but that's the only one that I'm not sure about.
Okay, interesting.
Anyone have an idea of where that's located in this area?
It's got to be on the bottom side, right?
What was that?
Up by Corn Road.
What number? Where is Corn?
Corn, Sugar Road, that area.
So that would be South Lauren if you go down
Okay.
17, somewhere around there, right, Laurie?
I'm trying to figure this out.
19, oh, Still Road.
No, because if you're in Harvard, you'd be up the other end of town. You'd be more on the northern side of Sugar Road area. You're in the lower end of town. So if you're going to be connecting to Harvard, you want to be up the northern section of town.
So wouldn't that be 17 down there?
Let's see. I don't know if this helps us at all. Just following
Yeah,
the
I
link
think
that
it's
was in their
17.
email. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 17.
Oh, that area.
Yeah.
Oh, right here. Yep.
Yep. Because
I know.
there's a connection from the end of Laurel to that
Yep.
Zinc Northwood that is not easemented to the town, but it is permitted to the town, and that is privately owned.
Is that the area through like Orange there?
It might be the green.
Hmm.
So
Not the
This
lime
is-
green. I know that's Harvard.
yeah, this is Harvard.
Right.
But I'm thinking it's saying that these trails are natural progressions from their trails. So it might
Yeah.
be this northern portion here.
Yeah, they're all connected up in the back. But there is a leg that goes onto Laurel Road. Wherever. Okay, so it's that blue line at the top in the orange.
Right here.
Nope. Further down. Yep, right there.
This?
Yes. And then I believe that parcel off to the left-hand side, I don't believe that's a permitted trail.
We looking
By-
here or
Yeah, the red one. So the blue that you just had your cursor on.
Yep.
Yep, right there. And then that left-hand adjacent. those are not permitted trails for the town.
I think you're
So-
right.
I know I'm right.
Okay. Okay.
So is it possible for the commission to, add on a condition in their vote to mention only staying on town-owned conservation land?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is,
'Cause I think my father-in-law owns that. So
Yeah,
I'm
well-
rather confident in my assessment there.
So Sammy, are you okay if we can, we're gonna add another condition as well. But are you okay with conditioning that the paracord ropes shall only be on trails that are Bolton Conservation Commission owned?
Yeah, that's fine. I think that makes sense.
Okay, good, excellent.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any
This was
questions?
fun.
Questions, comments? Anyone have any other questions or comments? Okay, so well, let me try this one. I would like to call for a roll call vote to approve and accept the action plan as discussed in tonight's meeting with the following conditions. All related installment material shall be removed by December 1st, 2025 from the town of Bolton properties, and any installment materials shall only be placed on Bolton Conservation Commission trails.
should they, I'm sorry,
No,
should they check with the town hall, the administration prior to posting to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be before they put anything out?
Well, I have a comment here, Lori, that in speaking with Rebecca, the comment is agencies no issue with the request as installments are minimal and within conservation parameters. Now, I don't know if that means that she checked with the town hall, but we can certainly check. I would not be opposed to pushing this off to the next meeting. I think we probably have time if we want to get those answers to those questions.
Only to make sure they're not being posted on private land that the landowners are gracious enough to give the town of Bolton access to, but not everybody else.
Lori,
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense, especially since after looking at that map, it doesn't appear that map is correct, because I know some of the legs up there are not town property, like they're not even easemented to the town or permitted to the town. So I think until we get that resolved, I'm not comfortable voting with something like that.
No, I hear you. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, thanks, Lori.
Okay, great. No, thank you. Excellent feedback. Okay, so we'll hold off on this, and Lauren, if you could take those action items
Sure.
and go back to Rebecca with that, and we'll take this up at our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. There's no Forest Legacy Program updates, no updates to trail stewardship and authorized projects. I think Lauren walked us through the upcoming events, and apparently there's still a volunteer land steward position is still available, and there's still an opening on the Conservation Commission. Did I miss anything, Lauren?
I'm just looking through my notes here. I don't see anything else. I think we covered it all.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments, questions, additional business? Okay. Seeing none, then I would like to make a motion that we adjourn the April 15th, 2025 Bolton Conservation meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Hang on. May I?
Oh.
Did we talk about the Cultivate Care Farms?
Well, what we talked about was that because of the ownership change, that we are going to need to have a site visit. So We're going to hold off until we have a site visit, so hopefully we'll get a site visit scheduled between now and the next meeting, which is on May 6th, and then we can take it up on May 6th.
Oh, great. My name is Dave Burke. I'm the representative for the applicant. And I don't know if I got in late on the process or what, but
I think you were stuck on mute, Dave. So we, because we needed to, we need to have a site visit.
okay.
Because of the ownership change. So that's just the rules here. So, nothing really to talk about per se. I think after we have a site visit, we'll hopefully we won't have too many questions, but I'm sure we'll have questions after our site visit.
Okay, terrific. Thank you for your.
Yeah, no problem. So Lauren will reach out to you, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds like the 6th of May, right?
Yeah, but we're going to hopefully have a site visit before then, so we
Yeah,
can.
I'll reach out to you, Dave, to schedule one before the 6th. And so
Okay.
we actually have a few weeks before then to make that happen.
All right, anytime. Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, let me see. I'm going to try this one again. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn the April 15th, 2025 Bolton Conservation Commission meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye, starting with Sam,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Lori,
I.
and I am an aye as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful night.
Good night.
See you in a few
Aye.
minutes. Bye.
Recording stopped.